Well, good evening and thank you for joining us on India Business Hour. I'm Ashmit Kumar, and here are the headlines that we're tracking at this hour. Large parts of Bengaluru remain inundated with floodwaters as heavy downpour leaves many without electricity and drinking water. A 23-year-old woman dies of electrocution on a waterlogged road. Karnataka's chief minister blames previous governments and says the rainfall was the highest in 90 years.
Europeans buy more in one afternoon than I do in a quarter. I'd be surprised if that is not the condition still. But yes, we will buy from Russia. We'll buy from wherever.
Petroleum Minister Hardeep Puri says India will carefully assess whether to support a proposal by G7 countries to impose a price cap on Russian oil. Adds that he has no moral conflict with buying Russian oil despite the Ukraine invasion. Says he has a moral duty to the Indian consumer. Government and LIC may offer to sell 60% stake in the IDBI bank. Sources say due diligence from RBI is being sought at every stage of the transaction. Bids likely to be invited this month or in October. That's an exclusive. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman and Steel Ministry officials review the export duties imposed on steel and iron ore. Sources say government is examining a proposal for a calibrated reduction of steel duties, but the taxes on iron ore are likely to stay. Revenue Department yet to take a final call. Insurance regulator wants policies to be sold in demat form like stocks and mutual funds. IRDAI gets into a huddle with the industry on making dematerialization mandatory for insurance policies. That's an exclusive. The Aviation Ministry writes to the Finance Ministry seeking a higher loan limit for airlines under the Emergency Credit Guarantee Scheme, wants additional loans of up to 100% of their outstanding credit instead of the current 50% limit. US-India Business Council's India Idea Summit kicks off in Delhi. The US Chamber of Commerce bats for agreement and standards between India and the US on cross-border data flows, says that a trade deal would be a win-win for both countries. Drug Controller General of India grants emergency use authorization for Bharat Biotech's nasal COVID vaccine. The vaccine can be administered on those above the age of 18. Former Tata Sons chairman Cyrus Mistri's body was cremated in Mumbai today. Mistry died in a car crash on Sunday. Top business leaders and politicians attend the last rites. Authorities in Ireland impose a fine of over 400 million euros on Meta, the owner of Instagram. This is the highest penalty imposed on the company yet. Instagram is penalized for allowing teenagers to set up accounts that publicly displayed their phone numbers and email IDs. Welcome back. On to the action now from the Lal Street. Sensex and Nifty ended marginally in the red after range-bound session. Financial stocks led the decline, but mid-caps managed to buck the trend. In fact, the mid-cap index ended with gains of nearly 200 points. Well, meanwhile, oil prices are back under pressure despite OPEC Plus producers deciding to cut output by 1 lakh barrels per day. Brent is trading with losses of nearly 2%, while NYMEX is down by around 2% as well. Analysts say prices haven't risen as expected, as the decision to slash output is seen as mostly symbolic, given that OPEC Plus hasn't been able to meet its production targets. Meanwhile, European countries could face gas supply issues as they await clarity on when Russian energy giant Gazprom will resume the Nord Stream 1 gas pipeline. The company had cited leakage as the reason for closing the pipeline, but Kremlin had later said that supply won't resume until Western sanctions on Russia are lifted. Russian Energy Minister said that no decision has been taken on resuming transmission as of yet. He also said that Russia will respond to price caps on Russian oil by shipping more supply to Asia. His comments came after finance ministers of the G7 countries agreed to the idea of capping the price of Russian crude to reduce the country's revenue in response to its invasion of Ukraine. Meanwhile, Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri said that India will carefully assess whether to support the G7's proposal to cap the price of Russian oil. Speaking to CNBC's Hadley Gamble, the minister said that there is no moral obligation on India to ban Russian oil, as the country has to look after the interests of its own consumers first. Puri added that he doesn't want a situation where petrol pumps in India are running dry.
Today, our 5 million barrels of oil, where does it come from? Well, it comes largely from Saudi Arabia, from Abu Dhabi, from Kuwait. Iraq is actually our largest supplier.
Yeah.
And so we have 5 million barrels, each one of them a little less than 1 million barrels, about 864,000. Russia accounted, if memory serves me right, towards the end of the financial year, which ended 31 March 2022, 0.2%, that's all we had. Then when the thing started, so somebody said, India is buying a lot of oil from Russia. I said, the Europeans buy more in one afternoon than I do in a quarter. I'd be surprised if that is not the condition still. But yes, we will buy from Russia. We'll buy from wherever.
Yeah.
A democratically elected government.
And you don't have a moral conflict with the Russians at all?
No, it's a question of no conflict. I have a moral duty to my consumer. Do I, as a democratically elected government, want a situation where the petrol bunk runs dry? Look at what's happening in countries around India.
But they did invade a democratically elected country.
I'm not getting into that debate.
Yeah.
It's a question of energy. Energy, as far as I know, is not sanctioned. Okay? Energy, there is a encouragement, but there are so many other factors. Also, if we balance it, we buy 4 million from here, if we buy, I don't know how much we are buying from Russia. So we are realistic. And by the way, those who wanted to do that ideological punitive action, they're still buying.
Yeah.
And they're going to be buying for a while.
Well, moving ahead with the CNBC-TV18 exclusive, the government and LIC may offer sell their stake of around 60% in the IDBI Bank. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 that the government will invite EOIs either by this month or by the month of October. Sapna Das now joins us with the latest update. Sapna.
Well, in July, we had reported that government and LIC both together may be looking at offloading a 65% stake in the IDBI Bank disinvestment. We are now going to understand that possibly that number is going to be closer to 60-odd%, which essentially means that both LIC and government together will continue to hold somewhere around 40-odd%. Even after the disinvestment. That's one. Second, of course, September is a timeline, internal timeline for the government inviting the UIs for IDBI Bank stake sale. However, that could also spill over to October. There is an outside chance. That possibility is there, as a lot of processes are involved. A lot of due diligence is on even at this point in time before the government firms up its mind to actually invite the UIs. Also, at every stage of the transaction, they will like to be in touch with Reserve Bank of India. I think that's where the situation is as of now. They want the RBI support on this entire transaction so that, there are no nasty surprises for bidders also. So probably at every point, reference to RBI will continue to be made by the government as and how the situation arises. Last but not the least, there are no serious concerns as far as the regulatory framework is concerned within which the IDBI Bank stake sale has to happen. There are two major conditions. One, whichever promoter comes and acquires stake in the bank, they'll have to reduce that shareholding to a certain level in 15-year timeline, and there'll be no change in the 26% voting rights cap. These are two major conditions which the potential bidders will have to actually follow as far as this stake sale is concerned.
Well, meanwhile, the Civil Aviation Secretary has written to the Finance Secretary pushing for an increase in the credit limit under the Emergency Credit Line Guarantee Scheme. The Aviation Ministry wants the airlines to be allowed to avail loans of up to 100% of their outstanding credit instead of the current 50%. The borrowing limit for the aviation sector has been capped at 400 crore rupees. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 cement companies and manufacturers associations have sought more time from the Competition Commission of India to file their reply on alleged cement cartelization. Remember, CCI during investigations in July had cited evidence of a price cartel. CCI had asked cement companies to submit their response to the report by early August. CCI will now conduct its final hearing by the end of September. Big feat for Bharat Biotech as its intranasal COVID-19 vaccine has received the drug controller's approval for restricted emergency use in those above 18 years of age. Company says it conducted clinical trials of the nasal vaccine with about 4,000 volunteers and no adverse reaction has been reported so far. This is India's first ever nasal vaccine approved to treat COVID-19. Moody's retains India's sovereign credit rating at Baa3 with a stable outlook. The rating agency said that the impact of the Russia-Ukraine war, higher inflation and tightening global financial conditions will not derail India's ongoing recovery from the pandemic in 2022 and 2023. The government is reviewing export duties imposed on steel and iron ore. No final decision has been taken as of yet, but a proposal for calibrated reduction in the duties imposed on steel is being examined. Timsy Jaipuria is here joining us now with more details. Timsy, what else are you picking up?
Well, it seems that some relief could be in offing very soon. But yes, as we speak, sources have told CNBC-TV18 that Finance Minister in a closed-door meeting along with top Finance Ministry officials and Steel Ministry officials took a detailed review of the current export duties that are being levied on steel and iron ore. Remember, in May, a 15% export duty was levied, post which the industry was saying that they are facing a lot of impediments because of this when it comes to their capex plans. And considering that, a formal proposal was moved from Steel Ministry to Finance for its review, and now formally Finance Ministry has taken a detailed review under FM's chairmanship. Proposal is to go for a calibrated reduction of export duties on steel, whereas when it comes to the export duties on iron ore, they might stay for some more time. However, whether a final decision has been taken or not, well, yes, Revenue Department is considering right now the proposal. They are doing a detailed analysis, post which only a final decision can be expected.
Right, Timsy, thanks a lot for that. Now, shifting focus to the latest debutant on Dalal Street, shares of Greenfolk Services opened at a premium of 56% at 508 rupees per share, above its issue price of 326 rupees per share. However, the stock dropped 15% towards the end of the trading session. Former Tata Sons chairman Cyrus Mistry's body was cremated in Mumbai today. Mistry died in a car crash in Palghar on Sunday while en route Mumbai from Gujarat's Udvada. Top business leaders including Deepak Parekh, Anil Ambani, Akash Ambani and politicians like Supriya Sule, Milind Dera attended the last rites. In what will boost its solar energy plans, Reliance Industries has signed an agreement to acquire over 79% stake in US-based solar software firm SenseHawk. The total transaction value for the deal is $32 million, which is around 255 crore rupees. Reliance Industries chairman Mukesh Ambani said that the collaboration can drive down costs of solar energy, enhance productivity and improve on-time performance. Fintech player Paytm claims to have disbursed more loans in July and August 2022 compared to last year, signaling continued growth momentum in its lending business. The company says it disbursed nearly 60 lakh loans in the 2 months, up 246% versus last year. The fintech company said that the total value of loans disbursed also rose by more than 480% to breach 4,500 crore rupees. Paytm said that it has also reached a new milestone in offline payments, having deployed over 4.5 million devices now. Its gross merchandise value for July and August stood at over 2 lakh crore rupees, which is up 72% year-on-year. Thousands of people in India's IT hub are reeling without electricity and drinking water as large parts of Bengaluru remain inundated after heavy rainfall. A 23-year-old woman died due to electrocution while wading through flooded streets. Now, the incessant rains have also left suburban areas waterlogged, disrupting travel within the city limits. The Bengaluru Lake has been swollen and adjoining areas remain inundated as well. Road, rail and air travel have been affected. Potholes on many highways have left commuters struggling for traction. Bengaluru's infrastructure is once again being criticized by many. Boats and tractors are out there on the streets for relief and rescue operations. Many people were ferried out of waterlogged areas. Chief Minister, meanwhile, Bommai has promised to release 300 crore rupees for the rescue operations. He blamed a heavy rainfall and previous governments for this current situation. The city has received rainfall to the tune of 131 millimeters in the last 24 hours, which is above normal. Commuting within Bengaluru has been impacted due to heavy congestion and delays. The Met Department has issued a red alert for the city for the next 5 days. Here is, in fact, a ground report.
We are bringing you the visuals from Marthahalli, you see, which has almost many IT companies placed here. So these are the visuals that are here in the Marthahalli. You see, it's completely flooded. The road is completely flooded over here. So the ground floors are all empty. People had to vacate their houses and move to a different location. Locals are outraging, saying that they do not need compensation. What they are looking forward to is a permanent solution, because yet another year and yet another monsoon, and they will see this kind of situation. This is all about the encroachment, that why the situation like this has been created for them right now.
ये सिचुएशन इसलिए क्रिएट हुआ है क्योंकि यहाँ पे जो 70% जो लेक का एरिया है वो सब दिब्या सिरी सुबह प्लेडियन और जो लैंड माफिया उन लोगों ने एक्वायर कर लिया है। जब उधर उन्होंने बिल्डिंग बना दिया है तो पानी वापस इधर की तरफ आ रहा है, यही रीजन है।
We honestly don't know what is going on, and we don't know who to go to for help or what to ask for. We've been trying to do whatever we can to help ourselves. As you can see, the water on the Bengaluru road is rising.
You see, there's no drinking water as well. You see, these locals here are moving with their water cans here. They had to take it from the shops from here. Most of the shops too here are closed.
There's no network. I'm not able to do any online classes. Teachers keep on calling me. They're telling your attendance is going down. So there's nothing I can do. There's no internet, no current, no water to drink, no food, nothing else.
पानी भरा हुआ है, कहीं जा नहीं सकते हैं. इलेक्ट्रिसिटी में मेजर प्रॉब्लम है. Water, drinking water major problem है.
For last 90 years, such rain has not come. All the tanks are full and they are overflowing. Some tanks are breached. And there is continuous rain. Even today it is raining. Every day it is raining. This is done because of maladministration and totally unplanned administration of the previous government, Congress government.
We are bringing to you these visuals from Outer Ring Road, where you can see the complete Outer Ring Road is waterlogged, and that's the kind of situation that has been created here because of the heavy downpour. This is a second time in the week where Outer Ring Road is seeing this kind of a situation.
हाँ, हम लोगों को ऑफिस जाने के लिए बहुत मुश्किल होता है. इतना पानी है, रूम का सामने भी इतना पानी है. हम लोग मेन रोड तक जाने के लिए नहीं हो रहे, प्लस उधर से इस ऑफिस तक हम लोग को जाने के लिए बहुत मुश्किल होता है.
Mostly who are suffering are the employees, because once they left the home, they're neither able to go back, neither enter. Okay, and this situation has been happening not from 1 or 2 years, it's been happening from the past 10 years.
They are also trying to pump out this water from this location, but it's becoming very much difficult for the civic body as well to pump out water, because every time that they are trying to pump this water out, there is again a rain in the city, which is again leading to such a situation right now.
Well, the Met Department has predicted that the rains will continue till at least the 9th of September. With that, let's head into a very short break. But coming up on the other side, the insurance regulator wants policies to be sold in the demat form like stocks and mutual funds. More details when we come back.